What's up, everybody? Now, this is a special episode. This is our first betting segment episode. We have a huge UFC card. To my left is Vince Sparrow, our betting analyst. And on the screen over there, you might see my twin, but let alone that is my little brother, Wesley Harper. And these two guys, they deep dive UFC. Anytime there's a big card, anytime there's a fight night, they find the best odds, and they make sure you guys hammer these home in this episode. Now, we have a nice card coming up tomorrow, Wes and Vince. Our first card that match actually on the card that you guys wanted to take a look at was Patchy Mix and Jacob Wickschlak, a Polish guy, right? Now I want to hear what you guys think and what you guys thought about the pick on this one. Vince, you want to take the seat on this one, and then Wes, you can chime in.
Yeah. So Patchy Mix, dude, his first fight in the UFC. All of us. Right. All of us were not happy with his performance. I mean, it was a staring contest in a sense, right? On his side. But look, Patchy in the other leagues, he did phenomenal, champ in others. But I stayed away from this one on betting right now. But the odds for Patchy, minus 265, a parlay booster to see how he comes back. It's not the worst, but we do have a little Polish power guy over here, right? So, I don't know. What's your take on this, Wes? You dove into it a little more than me.
Well, it's a Patchy no-love mix here. He's a former Bellator bantamweight champion in 2023. He won the Grand Prix of the Bellator. I mean, he has good grappling. He has a good submission and finish rate. Just going up against Jacob Wickschlak. He's a Polish fighter with 16-3-2 record. He wins towards submission, so it's going to be a ground game battle, I feel like. But I think Patchy Mix is going to pull it off. It's Patchy. He's got a lot to prove off after his last UFC performance. Didn't go the way he wanted. He didn't really show that he was a champion in the Bellator division. So I think Patchy's going to take this one. It is a really good parlay booster to just add to a good 2-3 legger.
Yeah, you had a good point there, Wes. Patchy Mix, champion in Bellator, right? His transition over to the UFC was highly touted, and everybody was pretty interested to watch him fight, right? But his first UFC fight was underwhelming, to be exact, right? And a lot of fighters talk about how coming over from the Bellator to the UFC is a lot harder, right? So Vince and Wes, it sounds like you guys might think Patchy Mix is going to get back in the UFC here.
Well, look, he had a lot of time, too. Like, what I like thinking about, and that's also when we get to the main card about Pierre and Aniklov, I'll bring this point up, too, is sometimes being too early coming back, right? Patchy, he had a lot of time to work on his technicals to get back in UFC. Nonetheless, that first time in the UFC, it's very scary. Being under the lights, there's a lot more pressure than the Bellator. So I think where the nervousness is out of the way for the first fight, and maybe we'll actually see his true character in the UFC now and see where he'll actually be placed when he's not nervous.
No, that's a good point. Wes, do you have anything else to say on this fight? I mean, betting on UFC, also you as well, Vince. When you see a fighter like Jakub, right? That's Polish. His last 5, he's 5-0.
Yeah.
Patchy's 4-1. It's his second fight in the UFC. His first fight, like we talked about, wasn't the best showing. And is this another dangerous fight for Patchy?
Well, yeah, his one loss in the past 5 is his only UFC fight, right? Those other 4, the Bellator. But that's also why I might stay away from this one a little bit. Now, if you're looking for those 6-leg parlays, obviously this is one of the picks for those, right? But if you're doing single bets or anything like that, or double-leg parlays, 2-leg parlays, I don't think this is one that you'll put on. I'm going to be putting on those.
Now, to let our viewers know, what betting set are you going with? Are you going with the FanDuel or the Fanatic lines?
Yeah, so that's what's special about us at DeepWater. Look, we don't just stay exclusive to one sports book. Like, there's something called arbitrage trading and getting the best out of your maximum. So when we look for bets, I look on all 3 or 4 streaming services for betting apps, and you take the one with the best odds. It's worth the extra time to get, and if you put in $20 on something that's a plus 700, right? But another app's giving you plus 900, it's worth the time to get the extra $40 for the win.
And something that a lot of you guys, maybe average UFC bettors, know, Fanatics has a very nice line sometimes where you can bet a winner and a round to start. Vince has found maybe a lot of plus bets on those. Maybe say maybe Patchy Mix has a round 2 to start And for him to get the dub, that's what, like a plus 100 probably, something like that?
Yeah, those round of starts and money lines, those are my cup and tea because my biggest one was I got John Jones at a plus odds, right, when he fought why am I forgetting his name?
Stipe?
Yeah, Stipe. Stipe, I got plus odds with John Jones finishing him in round 3. So, or not finishing him, just starting round 3.
Yeah, guys, we're going to be posting some of these as well. But like I said in the last episode yesterday, tune in to the whole episode to find the juicy. We have one that we're not going to cover right away. It's a prelim fight, but we'll add it towards the end. And you know how we're famous for our Risky Ricky already. Also, side note, shout out Chris Vargo for the PBR. You're the real one, man. All right, so moving on to the next fight, right? We go to the main card, right? This is a highly touted UFC main card. And October as a month is loaded in the UFC, right?
It's going to be a great month.
And first up on the main card, Wes, I want to talk to you real quick. We've got, I can't pronounce his name, but he's Magomedov and Joe Pyfer. Wes, what are your thoughts on this?
So, Abus, he's a well-rounded MMA fighter with grappling, striking, and submission tools. And he is on a 3-fight win streak. You got to take that in consideration. He's hot right now. He is really hot. He has a good reach as well over Joe Pyfer, which he can mix in some exchange, mix in blows. But Pyfer, on the other hand, is known for his finishing ability. I think this could be a juicy fight. It could go down into who wants it more and who lands a better punch and can daze somebody. But I'm going with Abus on this one.
Yeah. So I'm taking Abus as well. I actually like Abus. His last fight, it was very close. It was 29-28 or 30-29 every single round, right? Or 10-9 every single round. But Abus, man, like you said, he's all around. Not only that, he's sharp in every single area. His striking's good. The only thing that I say he slacks is cardio, but that's something people like them, they work on. That's the only thing it's one of the biggest things he needs to improve on. And the only thing I'm scared about Abus for money line is a late third round KO by Joe. That's the only way I kind of see Joe winning is a third round KO when Abus gets tired. We've seen that in the third a lot. But I think Abus knows that and works on it. And why I'm still on Abus, another one, is Joe doesn't throw combos, right? He said he has a power KO. Right? He has the power for a KO, and that's all he does. When he was fighting his last fight, I was screaming at my TV because he was just throwing one punch at a time.
He's just looking for a finish.
Yeah, he's looking for a finish. He's looking for a highlight reel, right? He's trying to TikTok clip Abus. But I think Abus is the higher level than the last guy Joe has fought. And those one punches with no combos, that's old news. That's inexperience. I think Joe needs to start throwing some combos if he really wants to start fighting these guys at a better level.
You're talking about this.
Yeah, here, Wes, hold up. We'll get you on the dance floor. Don't worry about it real quick. So Joe Pyfer, he is you guys know this as well, and any non-casual UFC fan, Joe Pyfer is, a lot of people say he's up next, right?
Yeah.
This is, would you guys say that this is a fight that if he gets maybe possibly that finish or a decision that is pretty clear, he moves up and maybe moves up into the rankings? I don't know. Abus is probably his best fight in the UFC so far, probably.
Yeah, and Joe came from Dana White's Contender Series, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Wes, here, take a seat on the dance floor. What do you got to say about this?
All right, so Vince was going ahead and talking about Abus's stamina and staying in and third round KO, but that's what training camp's for. That's what training camp's for is to boost your stamina, get ready, get those last weights off, and get at it and boost. And I think Abus will come out swinging, but if Abus takes him to the ground, I can see Abus winning by submission in this one.
You could see Abus by submission. That's a good shout.
That'd
So
be sneaky.
someone in the chat has said, well, Coach D's got us tuned in. What betting app has the best odds in your guys' opinion, or do they vary and you just have to be on the hunt for them?
There's no app that has the best odds. It's all stationary around each other. I don't want to get into the technicals of how these work, but they're order books, so they all bounce off of each other. So Fanatics has a plus 700. Sometimes if it's a low liquidity bet, right, like Marab by submission, it's plus 900 on other apps. So we can get into the technicals another time, but they're all good. They all have their favorites around.
Moving into this fight again, right? So you guys did your research, and our viewers want to know, what is your lock for this fight?
My lock.
What is your lock for this fight? Are you taking a money line? Are you taking a finish? What kind of finish? What round to start? Wes, what do you guys got?
What do you got, Wes? I'll let you go first.
I'm taking Abus money line, and then to add it to the risky reels, I'm taking Abus by submission. Give me the most experienced fighter in the octagon over
You're taking
Joe
a boot.
Piper.
That's the risky, right? But you'd encourage
It's a risk.
viewers to throw that submission as a single parlay, or would you like to parlay that one? A single bet or a parlay on that one?
I'd say do a parlay on it for the risky reels if you're going submission. Money line added into the parlay. I think Abus gets it done. He has experience, and overall experience is better than incoming. As it proven, Patchy Mix, as we just talked about, was unexperienced in the UFC octagon, went in and lost. I'm taking experience over.
You think Joe Piper's got too much meat to chew on this fight, huh?
I do. I don't like how the odds favor for him, to be honest. I think Abus should be favored.
All right, so Wes is taking Abus money line, and his risky Ricky is Abus submission. Vince, what do you got over here?
Yeah, so my lock of the night. This one's been
On
tough.
this fight.
Yeah. Oh, for this fight.
This fight. What's your lock
just
for
this
this
fight?
fight? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Abus money line. I'm not going to go anywhere further by submission types or rounds to start. You know, if you were a super greedy guy and want to take Abus with round 2 to start, you might get a little better odds. It's plus 210, as you guys see. It says plus 180, but they've updated to plus 210 now. If you took him by round 2 to start, I'm pretty sure it'd be around plus 260 if you want to get a little extra. But I am just going to go with moneyline Abus. Yes, just like he said, the more experienced guy. I think he's better all around, and I don't think Joe has enough combos to even take a guy down anymore.
All right, viewers, you heard it here. The bet on this one is Abus money line, and if you want to get a little risky, take Abus submission. Our betting analysts think experience will take over, right? You guys agree on that?
Yes.
To the next fight, we have another similar fight that's about the same on the main card with Josh Emmett and Youssef Zalal. Right? So, Wes, I want you to kick us off with Josh Emmett and Youssef Zalal. I know you're a big you like Emmett here and there.
I do like bet on Emmett because, man, he's just a power horse. He can knock anybody out with one punch. Vince, we talked earlier this week. He said he almost knocked out Taporia. I rewatched the fight. He's right. Just one punch, and Emmett, the veteran, can knock somebody out with just one hammer of a punch. And he's known for toughness in boxing. That's his strong suit. He's aging and is past physical peak.
He's aging. He's 40 years old, Wes. You still think he's got that power?
He's aging. You know, he's not fine wine. You know, he's just not the fine wine fighter you see.
In our episode yesterday, Coach and Chris did note that power doesn't age. Vince, are you sold on Josh Emmett for this fight?
Like, I like watching Josh Emmett, right? I hate betting on his fucking fights because, I mean, for example, dude, he almost knocked out Taporia. Could you imagine the upsets on that? That's the one restrictions in UFC betting is, like, it is random at the end of the day for some scenarios. In Josh Emmett's fights, that randomness just increases by percentages because of his power KO potential. And it's not like a Joe Piper, right? They say he's got KO power. Josh Emmett's, I think his KO power is a little bit different. It's fucking overhand right hands all day. It's like your buddy fucking playing on UFC throwing overhands the whole time, you know, until one actually KOs you. So I am staying away from this on betting sides.
You're staying away from this?
Yeah, you guys are. I have some big standards for my bets, and one of my rules is I stay away from Josh Emmett fights because his randomness for KO potential is just so much more, and he's 40 years old, so I'm usually not going to be betting on him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm not usually going to be betting on him. And
well, to be exact, too, he's fighting a absolute young up-and-comer. Last 5 fights, he's 5-0. He's headhunting. Josh Emmett is a big name in the UFC. A win over Josh Emmett, does it bring any value? I mean, he's 40 years old. What do you guys think on that for Youssef Zalal?
He's a gatekeeper. Basically, this is Zalal's gatekeeping test. So, can he breach the top 15? I don't know. We'll see with Josh Emmett here.
Wes, all right, so Vince has already said, you know, Vince is staying away from this because Josh Emmett he's kind of a wild card, as we could say, right? But I know, Wes, you are a risky man, and you like to risk it for the biscuit. So What is your pick on this fight here?
So, with the matchup and how the dynamics work, Zalal's younger, right? So he's gonna have faster footwork, and he's just gonna. And let's just try to slow down Zalal, but it just won't happen. I think Zalal's gonna win by points. If you're gonna add it to a risky reel, I'd put Zalal by points. I do think it does go the distance. You can bet that as well. I think this fight will go the distance, but it is going to be a dog fight. But Zalal's just younger, faster on his feet, and just has more awareness than Josh Emmett at this age.
I mean, he's also 4 inches taller than Josh Emmett, So Josh Emmett is going to have to be looking up, swinging at him. But, Vince, I know you're a betting guy, right? Yeah. And I know you want to stay away from Josh Emmett, but I know you want to take Zalal money line or Zalal by something here. I know if our viewers want to see what our betting analysts are going to choose, we've got Wes is taking Zalal by points. Wes, what are the odds on that, by the way?
Last time I checked, they were only like plus 230. I can pull it up real quick. It is Zalal by points went down to minus 175 as of Wednesday.
All right, so viewers, you heard that. So Wes is saying Zalal by points, and as betting goes, you guys know, I'm sure many of you who are tuning in are bettors, right? The lines change instantly. So if you want to get a lock in, right, Wes, you want to get that bet in as fast as possible because do you anticipate points going down maybe by another 25, 50 points? Maybe.
Yeah,
I could probably get it up plus 100.
Yeah. I could anticipate right before the match starts that by points method of victory could be plus 100 or it could be minus 210. I mean, that's just how Vegas wants to favor it.
Vince, I know you got something cooking up.
Yeah, you said I had to pick one if I did, and I'll tell you, I'll take Zalal with round 2 to start money line. I think it's something safe. It's minus 275 on Fanatics Sportsbook. It breaks that minus 350 down a little bit more. To build that parlay a little more. And I think round 2 to start is pretty damn safe with Josh Emmett.
And for the viewers too as well, when you sports bet, it's okay to play it safe. A minus 275, all that is a parlay booster, or it's a quick 1.5x, something like that. It's nothing crazy, guys. Yeah. And all it does is add the boost to the parlay. And those round to start, right? Those are Fanatics exclusive. You might be able to find them on FanDuel.
You can find them on other apps, but honestly, Fanatics makes them the most easier to get, so I just stick with them on those. And Fanatics is pretty good on those. They have usually better odds. For
the viewers, go check out Fanatics. You can mess with FanDuel, but from your guys' experience, right, as pretty Fanatics, the locks are on Fanatics, right?
Use my code on Fanatics.
So this fight, we've got Zalal, right? Zalal by points from Wes, which is what you said, a plus 175, and then Vince says Zalal
with round 2.
Zalal to win in round 2 to start. Viewers, lock those in if you want it. Kick a chat in our kick chat. It's called putting the rent down. If you want to double your money, come on, you know where to be. So moving on to the next fight on the main card. This is a highly touted fight. And it's a tough one. Jiri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. Now, for the casual fan, these are both warriors.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we can talk about Alex Pereira all we want because they both fought Alex Pereira, right? And we can compare who did better against Alex Pereira. But, look, at the end of the day, they're fighting each other. And I want you guys to break down this fight.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little
Vince, go break down this fight.
So, we're going to go to Khalil versus Pereira here, okay? And what we saw in that fight was Pereira was not like a KO artist like Jiri, right? Yeah, he's got it, the power, of course. It's Poetan. But he was playing the void. He was playing with jabs. That's why you saw Khalil's nose all busted up and not just KO'd. It's because he was doing jabs straight to the face, right? He was playing the void against Khalil because of his power and speed. Khalil, dang near, has more speed than Pereira in that fight. I mean, his hands move quicker than Pereira's. Now, Jiri, he's not a guy who plays the void, right? He's a head movement. He wants to be in the pocket, even though he's 2 inches taller than this dude and a 4-inch reach, right? But he'll get in that pocket. So It's weird because what it sounds like I'm going to what it sounds like I'm going to is someone's going to get knocked out, right? And that's what everyone thinks. My bet on this actually is it going the distance for plus 210. You know, I won this on Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler when you would ask anyone, right, that one wasn't going the distance. It was 5 rounds too. And you know what? What did it do? It went towards the distance, and I hit on that too. I think we have too hard of a Lions that will not give up no matter what. And we will see it go the distance,
And
not
what did you
what
say that
people
was?
want.
What was the odds on that?
Plus 210.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vince just gave you a plus 200.
But if I do pick for someone winning, I'm going Khalil, and I hate it because Jiri, he's won everything except Piera, you know, so it's tough. But I think Jiri won't take advantage of his length like Piera did against Khalil, and Khalil will actually have a chance, you know, to chip him a couple times. And I don't know how strong Jiri's chin is anymore. He says he blocks punches with his forehead, so we'll see how that shit goes. But I'm taking the one that no one else thinks. It's 3 rounds, and I think it might go the distance. I think these guys need 5 to knock each other out.
You know, I think that's a pretty good bet. Plus 200 odds. I think that's pretty gorgeous. Wes, what are your thoughts on this fight?
So Yuri is one of the most like unorthodox fighters of all time. I mean, how he finishes people is actually wild. He's only lost to Pereira. Like his last loss has only been to Pereira. You can take that into consideration, but he leaves himself open a lot. And Roundtree, man, his power, like Vince said, and he's explosive with kickboxing. I could potentially see a Khalil Roundtree KO if you're looking for the risky reel. Yuri could get himself exposed, and Roundtree is good enough to sneak in a little KO with a leg kick. His power is no joke. He's also a pacing. Yuri's very slow movement. Khalil Roundtree is a pace demon. He wants all pace. He doesn't get gassed. He's all go, go, go. I think that's going to be too much for Yuri to handle. Give me Khalil Roundtree money line. And if you want that risky reeler, I'm taking him by KO/TKO.
I like that. And my personal bet as well, I throw this in there. I'm taking Khalil Roundtree money line. You know, I talked about earlier, they both fought Alex Pereira. And I'm one to compare when they fight the same fighter, right? Jiri, I can't pronounce his last name, sorry. But I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, got knocked out both times by Alex Pereira. And Khalil Roundtree did get knocked out as well. But since Alex Pereira's induction into the UFC, Khalil Roundtree, when he fought Alex Pereira, was the only one to do as much damage as he was able to do, right? We hadn't seen Alex Pereira actually been tested a little bit and actually take a hit or something. And Khalil Roundtree, like you said earlier, Vince, heart of a lion. And I think Khalil Rountree's taking this, and I'm taking the money line here. So our chat right now, they want to know how betting works on UFC. What do you guys? So before we get into two of the main events, right?
Right.
What are you guys looking for when you're betting on a fighter?
All right. What I'm looking for is value over the actual risk and reward, right? So let's say, you know, Anaklav beats Piera 8 times out of 10, right? And we see a minus 200. Is that worth the value to you? Right? That's what you got to ask yourself when you're betting. Is Anaklav, this guy in your mind, he can beat Piera 8 times out of 10, just as an example, and he's a minus 200. Are you going to pick that? What minus 200 means? That means you get 0.5 of your bet back, right? If you win, you get a 1.5x payout. So you get your one payment out, right? And then you get half of it for winning it.
I think that's a pretty valid.
That's me trying to make it as simple as I can, guys.
So Wes, then what are you looking for when you go to bet on a fighter?
Just main value. What's the most I can get with throwing money on a fighter? So if you see like a money line, like Vince said, minus 200 or more, there is no value. There is absolutely no value in it. Going the distance, yes or no, has value. Potentially round to start has value as well. And then also, if you can guess how the fight method of victory ends, that's value. Money lines, here and go. They're boosters. Like I'm not taking Yuri, but if I would, he'd be a good booster for like a 4-legger because he's just minus 175. So boosted just a little. It's just value when it comes down to betting on UFC, and who do you think is going to come out with the talent and get the job done?
You guys both made a good point on the value of the fighter. Quick note, our boy Charlie on our YouTube chat, he wants Roundtree as well. Charlie, we agree. We're taking Roundtree money line. Vince had a Roundtree and the fight to go to the distance for a plus 200. Wes said Roundtree KO for your risky bet. And it's not a bad shout, but back to your guys' value take on how you bet, right? Because you guys mentioned that sometimes the money line prop is never the best, right? Even though you know a fighter's going to win. But you can find bets, such as the ones you talk about, when a fighter to win in a round to start for maybe lower odds or higher odds.
Yeah.
So it's all, guys, when you go to bet on a fighter and you want to find the right bet to bet on, right, you need to do your research on your sports book because there's also hidden gems when you bet on UFC as well. And also, you guys take into account, right, a UFC fight, a fighter could be winning 2 out of the 3 rounds, and in that 3rd round, right, they just get knocked out. You guys, what goes into account when they're fighting, for example, Joe Pyfer versus Abus, right?
Right.
We have a fighter in Joe Pyfer who has that knockout power, and he's a wild card, right? But Abus knows how to maintain a fight and control it and win a round, right? What do you guys look for when that happens? Do you maybe hedge a little bit? Maybe throw a Pyfer KO single bet? What do you guys do for that?
So, look, you don't want to over-diversify when you sports bet. I used to do that where I throw down 15 different parlays and 15 different bets. Really, now I'm strictly to I try to stay around 4 to 5, right? I don't like going over 10 or 8 bets. You're mixing up your money too much where now you're over-diversifying kills, okay? What that means is you're splitting up your money too much where now your reward payouts aren't as much as it should be as if you didn't just keep it into your 5 nice picks. So, one, I don't over-diversify, so my value on bets are actually good. So if you have $100, now I'm putting $20 on each bet instead of 10, right? Things like that. What else was your question?
So if we have a fighter, right, and you are iffy on picking fighter, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Would you hedge?
Yeah, no. I only hedge after I win 3 or 4 of the legs if I'm on that and it's the last one and it's worth the value, right? So if you have a $20 bet that's about to win $200, and you put a single bet on the last leg on the opposite side where, you're guaranteed to win a certain amount, I'll do that sometimes. I would do it if it was Jiri and Khalil, toss-up matches like this. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of your decision and execution. And those bets, I bet on both the good and bad side of them, where I let them ride and it works out, and I let them ride and it doesn't. So it's viewers' discretion how they think, right? It's the fight, the toss-up, what you think.
All right, viewers. So for this fight, DeepWater is riding with Khalil Roundtree. And I think you're going to want to win some money on Khalil because he is the underdog when I honestly don't think he should be the underdog. But that's my personal opinion.
Yep. I think he should be the underdog, but in these toss-ups, usually take the underdog. It is a 50-50 fight, guys.
So, all right, DeepWater's riding with Khalil. Wes, any closing comments on this fight before we move on to the big ones?
I do have one closing fight and one closing statement is that in a fight, it only takes one punch to get the whole fight momentum shift to a whole different fighter. Like, Yuri could be down, like what Jeffrey said, down 2 rounds, and then Yuri could pop him, daze him, could end the fight quick. It all just comes down to who do you think is going to win and why. And it's just betting on UFC is difficult because it only takes one punch to knock somebody out. You get them good, it could be over and lights out quick.
You're right. One punch is all it takes is to change the momentum. So, but again, for you viewers, right? Value in your lock, in your parlay, value on the fighter. Where is your best value at when you're looking at the betting lines? That's what you guys need to be on the search for when you're betting. We're giving you value in this episode, so please take a look. And I'm telling you right now, you guys will win some money because our betting analysts right here, Vince and Wes, they know where the value's at. They do their research for this episode and to let you guys know where to put your rent money at, right?
Coach D, you want to know how me and Wes are different from betting?
Coach D wants to know how Wes and Vince are different.
Is that I am not a degenerate.
Well, Coach D, on the other hand.
Wes, what makes you and Vince different?
there's a difference. I am a degenerate when it comes to it, but I also make money when it comes to it. So I guess me and Vince are different, but we both win money at the same time. So we're both
Yeah,
degenerates at that slate.
there's no right or wrong way to win money in sports betting. You know, whatever logic you have for who you're picking could work out. But again, don't overanalyze your pick. If your gut tells you who you want to win, listen to your gut usually, right, boys?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to two of the biggest fights in UFC this year since Topuria Oliveira, right?
Excited for this one.
Excited for this one.
Excited.
Merab versus Corey Sandhagen. Now, I would try to pronounce Merab's last name, Dvalishvili, Valhalla, whatever. But this is Merab the Machine, guys. This is Merab the Machine versus Corey the Sandman Sandhagen. Give me your breakdown, Wes. You're gonna kick us off with this one.
All right, Marab, aka the Machine. He's dominant run. I mean, he has multiple title defenses under his belt, beating Sugar Sean not once, but twice. And in the second fight, it was absolutely domination over Sugar Sean. He had mat control. He did. And I'm not going to lie, I was a pussy. I had Merab by submission, and I cashed out because my heart did not want me to bet against Sugar Sean. So I cashed it out, watched it, lost it. So I'm thinking that Merab could potentially win by a submission. Sneaky submission can happen. Vince has more details on why I think a sneaky submission could happen.
Yeah, me and Wes, we were digging into this a couple days ago, and like the only guy to submit Corey Sandhagen, his only submission loss is fucking Merab's butt buddy, Aljo, his little butt buddy. So, I mean, having that guy in your corner where he's been the only guy to be able to complete this puzzle on submitting Corey, it's going to be wrestling. And why he did it was wrestling. He claimed his back and gave him a nice rear naked choke. That's what it was. So really what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a nice hard takedown by Merab where he slams his bitch ass to the ground and then he claims his back and gets just a nice old wrestling rear naked choke. Merab isn't a jiu-jitsu guy, right? He's a wrestler. So I'm looking for that wrestling submission types, not those stupid arm bars or whatever they'd give in jiu-jitsu. I'm looking for some wrestling submissions here by Merab, and that's why I think it's going to come. I think Corey, you can't get a leg lock on him. You can't do this shit, right? The jiu-jitsu stuff. But the wrestling submissions, that's where maybe Corey might be weak. I don't know about a KO. He's talking about KOs and shit. I think he's just talking that for announcing and all this and that. Or
To build the fight.
Or the casinos paid him to do that. I don't know. But I don't think he's getting the KO. Corey, I think they'll be about even striking. I think you'll be surprised how good Merab's striking has gotten. I mean, guys, he was dead serious about he outstruck Sugar Sean in a round. Sean, do you guys think Sugar Sean's a better striker than Corey? Well, you would say yeah before he lost twice to Merab. But now you'll say no because Merab outdid him. But no, the true answer is Sean is a better striker than Corey. So I almost see Merab also being just at even or if not better than Corey at striking here.
Now, I've got something to talk about this fight, right? I've got two things. Was there a betting line for if Corey Sandhagen was going to be on drugs during this fight?
No.
He is known to pop a lot of acid.
You might be able to get that on the offshore exchanges.
On Kalshi?
Yeah, maybe Kalshi.
Will Corey Sandhagen be under the influence during this fight?
He might pop a tab before he goes out there.
I don't think we're going to have a Nate Diaz scenario here.
But my next thing is I've been seeing online, is Corey Sandhagen next up for this fight? Did Corey Sandhagen do enough to earn this fight?
Yeah.
How so? He's only
Figueroa bumped up a weight class.
Yeah.
Right? That was a guy who was very strong at the last weight class. You know, he had a close match with Umar, went the decision.
He lost to Umar, right?
Yeah. But they went the distance, right?
Okay.
But then he beat Figueroa. So there really isn't anyone else in line, right, for this matchup. Nonetheless, when we get down to like matchups and stuff, I mean, Corey is the best matchup for Merab. You know, even with striking possibly, he can stop the guns because he has a great ground game. He has great defense. Nonetheless, he has his own ground game. So he is the best matchup. Umar, we all thought was until Merab exposed him, right?
Machine, just gas tank.
The machine, and I think it's the same thing. I think you're going to see maybe Corey hanging in there the first 3 rounds. But if it gets to the championship rounds, dude, you're gonna see why they call Marab the motherfucking machine.
You know, when you're fighting, Wes, I want to take this to you. So when you look at a fighter, right? Let's say this fight, for example, Marab is notorious for this. His gas tank is out of this world, right? And he just has this constant pressure, right? It eats away at his opponent. And Corey Sandhagen, right? He's known, he has a little bit of a gas tank himself, right? And they said that about Umar himself. But when you have a fighter, a little 5'6" Marab, who just always in your face, constant pressuring you, you're off your game. What do you think Corey really has to do to evade this pressure?
He has to be creative. So Corey's known as a striker. He's got to be creative, fast on his feet, ready to defend whatever Marab comes after him with. And Corey did say that he believes that he can defend Marab's wrestling abilities. I don't know if that's true. We'll find out. But I mean, Marab's almost the same size as Chris Vargo. So it's like Chris Vargo coming at you.
Yeah.
Imagine little Chris Vargo with
Jeff
the
and
gas
Chris
tank.
right here. This is the matchup.
This is a Jeff versus Chris.
Like, the only thing I'm scared for Marab, which, like, I'm not that scared. He has a crazy chin, but Corey's knees, that's going to be scary for the takedowns. If Marab's first takedown gets defended by a hard knee, kind of like going back to Pantoja versus Kaya Sakura,
Okay.
right? You guys remember that knee on Pantoja?
Oh,
Pantoja ate it, right? But that's what I want to see by Marab. I want to see Marab eat that first knee where now Corey's like, fuck, these knees don't do shit.
So you think
right?
You think Corey?
He's got great knees.
Yeah.
And also he's 5'11". I mean, his knee's already up to Marab's belly button.
Pretty much. So you think this fight will show us Marab's chin a little bit, Marab's durability as a fighter? You think Corey's going to land some pretty good strikes?
Yeah, dude. I think Corey. Well, you guys get creative. He's gonna be throwing elbows, knees. I think that's what
Some
he's
pretty
more
nasty combos.
Well, dude, his length is so much more in his height, so he's gonna take advantage of those little scissor kicks and elbows, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so-
got one thing.
Here,
to
go
mention-
for it, Wes.
If Sandhagen keeps distance away from Marab, that counters all of Marab's wrestling abilities. Will force Marab to prove his striking abilities have gotten better. And if Corey can have distance, I think that Corey could pull it off if Corey can stay away, have distance, and protect himself from getting into wrestling scrambling positions.
For
I'm
5
not
rounds.
going to say 4 or 5
Crypto.
rounds.
Crypto in our kick chat, Crypto Jazz is saying round 3 submission Marab. Crypto's saying in our chat, Crypto's saying Marab sub all day. Coach D says Corey doesn't hit hard enough. I mean, you guys are analysts. This is what you guys do. You guys win money on fights like this, right? What's your pick for this?
Well, I'm analyzing Crypto Jack as a degenerate. First off, but like I like it. Of course, I like it. But I also think he'll get the submission in the championship rounds. I don't think it'll be in normal 3 rounds. I think it's going to be round 4 or 5. We'll see a submission from him if we get one. Which I also hate. Here's one little tiny thing that everyone can think about when we go to submissions and fights. I usually like a first round submission because they aren't sweating yet. You know, if I'm betting on a guy where he's the striker and the other guy's a submitter, I pray it goes into the 2nd or 3rd round because now these both dudes are sweaty as shit and it's so much harder to lock up a submission.
That's another.
So keep that into mind once we go into round 4 and 5. It may be harder for Marab to get one of those jiu-jitsu technical submissions, right? But a rear naked choke's different when it's slippery.
Yeah,
That may be easier.
And you mentioned Corey lost on submission to Aljamain Sterling. You touched on this, and Aljamain Sterling and Marab are best friends. You touched on that,
Yeah, they're both
right?
buddies.
So you are damn well knowing that Aljo is working.
He's in his corner.
Yeah, you damn know he always is in this fight,
Yeah,
right?
he's going to be in the
Wes,
corner.
you damn well know that Aljo is working with Marab, and they probably watched that tape so many times on how Aljo got that sub, right?
What I like most about Marab, too, dude, after the rounds, he's smiling. He likes this shit. You got to bet on a guy who likes this shit.
It's the machine,
so-
man. He doesn't get
so-
gassed. He is the
Right.
machine. Taking
Now,
Marab by submission, risky reels at plus 710.
Oh, that's a shout, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's plus 900
It's plus
on DraftKings.
900 now.
It's plus 900
You
on
Wow.
gotta search
DraftKings.
around. So look,
Yeah.
guys. We deep dove on the fight. We'll go a little bit more, but give the viewers your pick.
Yep. Okay, I got
Give them the
Marab.
pick. Give them the lock.
I got Marab to win with round 3 to start. I'm pretty sure that is minus. I want to double check that real quick. I think it's minus 185, guys. But then, yeah, the plus 900 Marab by submission. If you want to put them together by submission or points, that could be another good one. That's a double method. But those are my 3. I'm not taking Marab just money line here. I don't.
There's no value there, right?
Minus 350, I'm too bored of. I'm going to be honest. I need at least a round 2 or 3 to start to get that boosting up.
You know, earlier, Wes, we'll get to you. But earlier, both Vince and Wes talked about getting your value from the fighter, right? Vince just gave you guys a great memo on where he found his value with Marab.
I love live betting Marab too.
Yes, live betting. Talk about live betting real
trying
quick
to think
a
of
little bit.
what. So, going back to Umar and Marab, right?
Yeah.
Me, you, and Wes, what we did back then was we both agreed, hey, Umar's going to win the first 3 rounds, I think, or the first 2 rounds, right?
Yeah.
If Umar's going to be close, he's going to win the first 2 rounds. I waited the first 2 rounds, and I got Marab at plus 200, guys, on a live bet against Umar.
That's right, because the
just
lines
money
change.
line. Just money line. So if you guys really believe in Corey Sandhagen more than we do, right? I would wait 1 or 2 rounds, and if Corey won that first round, don't be a bitch. Still stick with your bet on Marab. That's the whole plan. Don't stick out. Make sure you execute your plan when you do this. If you're gonna bet Marab live betting after round 1 or 2, make sure you do it when it gets to the moment, because that's the decision and execution you got to do when it comes to sports betting. Because those lines change just like that, guys. Wesley?
Wes, now,
Yeah.
give me your picks for this fight.
All
I know
right,
you gave us your risky.
My pick, there's no value betting on a minus 350. There's just nothing. That's just not going to do anything, not even boost a parlay worth shit. But if Corey Sandhagen can hold distance, I could see this fight going the distance.
Okay.
I would bet.
Coach D in the chat said that it's going the distance. What are the odds on the distance right now? Do you know?
I can see.
The odds?
It's minus 325.
The odds for the fight going the distance is minus 325. But Wesley gave you guys a massive shout maybe about 5 minutes ago. Marab submission. What'd you lock it at? What'd you get it at? 715 on DraftKings?
Yeah, but I wish I waited because I guess it went up. I thought I was going to sneak it in.
On DraftKings right now.
When I looked earlier today on FanDuel, at least it was plus 950.
I don't have a FanDuel account.
On FanDuel, Marab submission was plus 950. Now, I almost sent that into our parlay build, Wes, but I think a plus 950 is a little too much to call.
Yeah, that's a single bet.
That's a single bet right there. And, I'm liking the Marab submission here. He got his first submission on Sugar Sean O'Malley, right? That was his first submission, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you know that Marab hadn't submitted anybody before that with his immense wrestling skills, and his first sub came on Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Well, yeah, now he's chasing him, right? His last fights why he didn't have any, it's because he only took someone down and stayed on top of him, so he had good positioning. He never stayed on top to actually, look for a submission.
Finish the fight.
Yeah, he just stayed for positioning to gain points and win that round. Now he's looking for him. Now he is looking for him.
I mean, especially if his training partner is the one who has submitted Corey Sandhagen, right?
No, for real.
I think, Wes, you gave the shout. Your risky Ricky is Marab submission, and I'm gonna ride that as well. I think Marab submission is pretty. It's gonna happen, I believe. But
I got
Vince. Yeah, what else you got?
I got one thing. If you're gonna bet Marab submission, throw half of your unit on it. Don't go a full unit. Go half of a unit.
Yeah, that's another thing to touch on right now. I mean, it's up to the bettor, right? It depends how much money they want to put on it. But you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, right? That's that famous saying, right?
If it's a lock, it's a lock.
If it's hey, our analyst says that. But earlier, Vince, I want you to say these again for the viewers. Marab submission was our risky Ricky, but it doesn't sound too risky if you think about it and you think about the logic behind it. But Vince gave us some really good value for Marab earlier with his locks. What were those again, man?
Yeah, we got Marab. We got Marab to win with round 3, and that's minus 190. Marab to win with round 3 to start, minus 190. that breaks that odds basically in half. And now that if I got something under minus 200, that's something that's valuable to me. So minus 190, now I like it.
It's a full unit.
Not as a single bet, but maybe a parlay booster, right?
This fight's going to be, anytime Rob fights, it's a good time. I like to hear that. So
yeah, it's going to be
moving
great.
on. So we got 2 more fights for you guys. One is the main event, and another one is something that we concocted maybe, about a couple hours ago that we pretty much found on the prelim that we're going to go over later.
Oh, yeah.
So the main card, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Poatan Pereira. Chama si chama, right? Wes,
No chum.
I want you to kick us off on this one again, Wes. This is a highly touted rematch. I mean, again, I'll say this. No, both these fighters didn't take another food in their last fight. This is an immediate rematch.
Yeah. I'll let you go first, Wes.
Yeah,
It is. So the first time they fought was UFC 313, where Ankalaev won by unanimous decision to take the belt away from
BS, by the way.
Yeah, that fight, you hear BS coming from Jeff, but if you watch it could go either way, but Ankalaev had a unanimous decision. I think he controlled more of the octagon. I just think if Pereira wins by just pressure, constant pressure on Ankalaev. And I don't think he can get pressure on Ankalaev. Ankalaev's just so well-rounded that he's going to make Pereira second guess where he's going to go. Ankalaev's also, he's vocal. He doesn't want to get in situations where Pereira's stronger than him at. Ankalaev is a smarter fighter than Pereira. I'm taking Ankalaev. He's minus 210. Not really value there, but I'm taking to go the distance. Ankalaev money line as well. I just see decision by points. Method of victory is going to be by points.
You don't think Alex Pereira is going to avenge his loss?
No, because Pereira only wins by putting pressure. Yuri's knockouts. He put pressure up against the cage against Yuri. Yuri had nowhere to go. Ankalaev is a smarter fighter than Yuri. I think Ankalaev controls the octagon center, makes Pereira move around him, and Ankalaev is just going to hold it out, land more strikes, and just hold out and gets the method by victory by points.
Vince, it's your time to take a dance on this one. What's going on here?
Yeah, so I love Pierre. Don't get me wrong. He can one-punch KO everyone. He's better KO power than I think Khalil and Joe Piper, if you ask me. But, guys, he's 38. He's pushing 39. Okay. What is this rematch? Almost less than a year, right? Didn't they fight in December last year?
Yeah.
It was December. It was quarter of last year, right? But it was the late quarter. I think it's too early. I think when we look at rematches like this, whenever you rematch with less than a year like this, it doesn't usually work out in their favor.
So do you think it's
Let's look at Jiri, for example, guys. Look, Jiri and Pierre fight. Pierre did so much better against Jiri the second fight. Okay? I think it's going to be the same thing here, except now Ankalaev's going to do better against Pierre. Pierre was more focused on defending takedowns where his hands weren't moving. So now his reaction to this next fight is, look, Ankalaev didn't take me down. I actually took him down, and I need to let my hands go next time because he beat me on the points. So now Pierre's going to be more focused on the boxing, where now I think we're actually going to see Ankalaev get takedowns and, like you said, go the distance. So I don't want to bet the distance just because it's 5 rounds, and I hate doing that in 5 rounds. I think
That's a long time.
And also, I think Ankalaev's going to do better than last time, and especially if we get the ground game. His ground and pound is really fucking good. And, yeah, Pierre has Glover in his corner and stuff, but Glover's – no, it didn't. And also, Glover's not fighting the fight. So, I almost want to say Ankalaev by ground and pound KO or Ankalaev with round 3 to start. Those are my 2 picks for it. You get Ankalaev with round 3 to start at minus 110 on Fanatics. So basically you're doubling your money right there. And then you get Ankalaev by KO. I think it's plus 240 if I'm not mistaken. 265.
Crypto Jacks is saying Alex Pereira KO.
Yeah, I know. I told you guys he He sounds like he's a degenerate.
That doesn't have much.
Alex Pereira, KO. All right. We'll come back to that, Crypto.
I'll personally send you a note if you hit that 20 for 1,077 with
Yeah,
Pierre
free
KO
lane.
in it.
But
Yeah, I'll
guys-
send you a personal man if I.
You guys-
I'll send you a love note.
you guys don't think Chama's gonna get the rematch done, huh? So
I think it's too early. I think if he did this next year,
So-
I think it needs to be next year. I think it needs to be like quarter 2, 2026 or
So-
quarter 3.
Do you believe though that before he rematched Ankalaev, you think he should have fought another fight between that instead of taking the immediate rematch?
Yeah. No, honestly, no. I think he should have took 2 years to figure out Pierre. Or I think Pierre should have spent 2 years to figure out Anakalov. It's like, that's what Anakalov did. He doesn't fight that much. He really doesn't fight that much. He probably spent 2 to 3 years just focused on beating Pierre. So Pierre needs to do the same to him.
Now, question real quick. You mentioned Ankalaev's grappling skills, right? Wrestling skills. He's gonna get taken.
Yeah, he's got some crazy crazy teammates.
You did a deep dive. One of his teammates is a highly touted wrestler.
Yeah, the Russian tank. I don't know how to
Sajulayev.
say his name. Sajulayev?
Abdul Sajulayev.
Russian tank. Who's the only guy to beat him? David Taylor?
Cal Snyder.
Kyle Snyder, yeah.
We
Kyle
we've talked
Snyder.
about Sajulayev a bit on our Thursday podcast, and just so you guys know, Sajulayev is probably one of the greatest Russian wrestlers of all time, if not one of the greatest wrestlers.
His nickname's the Russian tank.
Yeah, and having that kind of guy in your corner, I mean, I think it speaks for itself. So, I mean, what do you think about Ankalaev's submission?
I will be pissed
Oh.
in the third round.
Can you guys see it happen?
Okay, right there, that's the reason right there. That's why I have round 3 money line. Not by just points or just KO, right? That's why I have round 3 to start, because if he's going to get a submission, I don't think it's going to be the first time on the ground. It's going to have to be after they're tired a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think if he gets a submission, it's going to be round 3 or further, not in round 1 or 2.
Now, you also meant – wait, Wes, I want to hear your take on that. So you don't think Ankalaev's submission at all?
No, I don't. Even though his wrestling ability's there, it's just Poton. I don't think Poton will get submitted.
No.
I just
All right,
Poton.
fair enough.
Poton could get submitted, man. It's just Poton. I think the only way you're going to win this one, if you take him distance and you take him to the ground and you hold him, I think he's going to get up right away, fight off his
That's fair.
fight off the guard.
That's fair, and that's why you're our betting analyst. This is what you guys thought. Vince, you and I talked all throughout the week, and we talked a lot. You said something to me earlier this week and last week that Alex Pereira is on too many side quests as well.
Yeah, this is something I look at on social media. Side quests, guys. If you don't know what a side quest is, these are them.
You're not living.
Yeah, this is them getting money by partnerships, going out, doing deals. If it's videos with Nina or fucking videos with Dana or videos with companies or sports betting ads,
DeepWater.
doing advertisements. When they're out worried about making money and not training, that's called side quest action. Too many side quests, not enough time focusing on the actual fight.
So is that a factor in why you're going with Ankalaev?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm going with Anakalov because Pierre has been doing too many side quests. I think he forgot to cut his hair how many side quests he's been on.
Yeah, he usually comes in with a
Yeah, dude, he's on side quests. He forgot to go to his barber before the fight.
Wes, would you agree on that? Vince made a valid point. You can see what a fighter's up to on social media a lot because they're highly touted fighters, right? We know what they're doing. They're a famous athlete. And I've seen as well that Alex Pereira's off doing who knows what all the time, and we don't see many videos of him training. Obviously, he is training, but is he training seriously enough to win this rematch?
So that's a good point. Back when Suga and Merab first fought, Suga he was messing around with Merab, posting all these videos, trolling Merab with a little blow up midget doll, talking about how he's just gonna fuck him up, do all this. I never saw one video of Sugar Sean actually training. I just saw all trolls on Merab. Comes into the ring, guess what? Boom. Merab takes it. Merab claims that. If there's no training going on, then I just don't see Pereira. Too many side quests. Ankalov's just going to take it. Same with the Sugar Sean scenario. Yeah. Pereira,
I think
love the guy. It's past his time, though.
It's past his time. All right, Vince, take yours.
Yeah, and during the face-off and shit, what you saw in the video is Pierre is trying to make this shit a little more deep than what it really is. He's like, I'm not going back to the tire shop. You're never going back to the tire shop. You're fucking rich now. You're not going back to the tire shop. You make millions to show your face on a camera. Okay? So he's trying to make this shit more personal than it is. It's not like that. He already has the money and fame that he wanted. Not only that, he's taking advantage of it lately with all the side quests.
So, for the viewers again, this is our betting segment. What odds and locks did you get for Ankalaev?
Yeah. Ankalaev, round 3 to start money line at -110. And Ankalaev by KO if you're feeling confident.
Oh!
Risky reel right there. I just added it to my risky reel lay. I do love the TKO by Ankalaev just because if he gets from the ground, if Ferrer doesn't get up right away, Ankalaev will perform a TKO performance with hammer fist. I'm going Ankalaev TKO and fight to not go the distance.
Ankalaev TKO, and that's just a single leg, right? And if you want to throw in a parlay, the fight not to go the distance.
I also have the risky reel parlay pull up my phone as well.
The risky reels parlay will be posted on our socials, right? At some point tomorrow before the main card starts, you guys will have that. But like I said, all the plays that we're giving you guys tonight, that Vince and Wes are giving you guys, will not be posted. You have to tune into the episode to get some of these plays.
That'll rewatch the VOD.
Or rewatch the VOD. Now,
I will have my favorite ones. We will have, of course, our favorite ones posted.
We don't have a graphic for this one because this was a last-minute thing that me and Vince found. Wes, I don't know if you're aware of this, but a prelim fight that we are interested in is Daniel Gustavo Santos. Wes, you know this already. Daniel Gustavo Santos versus the Korean fighter Ju Sang-yu. Right? We're not going to go too much into depth of it, but what we're saying is Ju Sang-yu by KO for plus 400.
Were you able to look at this one at all, Wes?
I mean,
I like myself an Asian fighter when they've got knockout powder. His nickname is Zombie Junior. So,
yeah, he looks like him too.
So we're taking if you want to do a nice single leg plus 400, take Ju Sang-yu plus 400. We found that today, and we thought it had some value.
Yeah, look, Ju Sang, his UFC debut, he literally KO'd the dude in his 4th punch, and it wasn't even hard. It was literally a short left hook while being back on his heel feet. Why it was so good? He caught him right on the bottom chin. The dude has accuracy.
He's also 9-0.
Exactly. So I want to go KO because I'm pretty confident in him, and I will probably do a little single bet. It'll probably be a quarter of a unit, guys. Nothing crazy. Quarter of a unit.
Wes, Wes, you're a better man. I know you know this fight, and I know you got something to say about it.
I do, and the KO is just money value. It is money value.
410 for how good a KO was last fight?
Yeah, you would be a fish not to bet a unit. You'd be actually a quarter of a unit. I think it's too small, Vince. I think you at least go half a unit.
If you even don't want the KO, he's a plus 125 money line anyway.
And then let's talk about Daniel Santos, the guy he's going against. Okay, so he's already beaten a South Korean dude on his last recent fight. Mm-hmm. That was his most recent one. He did pretty good against him, but I think the South Korean that he fought is way worse than Ju Sang-yu. And he also did go into that fight on short notice. So that's also what's a little scary is Santos, even when he's not preparing for a fight, he still did pretty good. So now that he is preparing for a fight, I'm a little worried about that. That's why I said if you're confident, do a KO. But I think moneyline Ju Sang, he can pull it off too.
I don't know why, but this fight right here that we're talking about was supposed to be on the fight night last week.
Really?
Oldberg versus Reyes.
I did not know that.
It was canceled and moved to this.
I did not know
fight
that.
card. I don't know why it was canceled. They didn't say why it was canceled. but it was canceled. It was supposed to fight last week, and it got moved to this one. Why? Now, I have a thought, because this fight right here, Ju Sang Yu versus Daniel Santos, has the, what do I want to say, je ne sais quoi, to be on the main card. It's gonna be fireworks, right? But we think Ju Sang Yu is getting a KO. I mean, if your nickname is Zombie Jr., that's a lot to live up to, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys
These
even know
Koreans are
Daniel
doing pretty good at
Santos'
fighting
nickname?
lately. What'd you say?
It's Daniel Willie Cat Santos is his nickname. He is a
Willie
featherweight
Cat?
Brazilian champion. He's 13-2, and he's 6 wins by KO, 2 by submission.
Hey, so are you riding Daniel Santos?
So you're talking about
Hey.
all the striking power, and you guys just told me about this fight. I just did my own research.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You
you're
said
seeing
Robbie Jr. has no
Viewers.
ground ability. I think a submission is possible. He is.
viewers. You guys are watching a live look at how we discuss bets. This is a live look because, like I said, me and Vince found this one today, maybe even a couple hours ago. We didn't really look too much at this one. We saw those other ones.
It's a plus 640.
There wasn't too much value, but this one caught our eye a couple hours before this episode. You're looking at a live look at how we figure out where's the value at. And as you can see, Wes is leaning toward Daniel Santos, but I'm going with Zombie Jr. KO.
The
My
Koreans have been
submission.
cooking on UFC lately.
And MMA in general. I mean, they just went crazy at the World Championships in wrestling.
Yeah, so I might go with some Koreans here. I need a bet on him. I need my little Korean.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for you today. This was our first betting segment, and we enjoyed it just as much as I hope you guys did. You know, we gave you guys some good value with some locks, told you guys how to bet on a fighter, where you guys want to find your value. And every Friday, we'll have an episode like this. The day before, maybe a big touted card or a big betting event. And maybe in the future, if you guys want it, maybe we'll throw in some football plays on Sunday. Who knows? Who knows, ladies and gentlemen?
That would
But
be from Chris Jeff.
I do want to
Okay.
know. I do want to
Know
know
something.
if you parlay all the risky reels that we said during this podcast, $5 pays out 8.5K.
And if you win that, I'll send you my
donate it
Venmo.
to the pod. Donate it to
Donate
the
it
I'll
pod.
send you my Venmo if you hit.
And
Donate it to the
I
pod.
Khalil Roundtree. This is my risky reel. I have Khalil Roundtree KO/TKO. Zala by points. Abus by points. Ankalaev by KO/TKO. And Marab by submission. 5 pays 8.5.
That'd be pretty damn hard to hit. But
Jeez, hey, that's why it's a risky reel for a reason.
be a
I-
wizard
and
if you hit that.
Like I said, be on the lookout on our social for a graphic tomorrow about some picks. But again, as I also said, I've said it a couple times, I'll say it again. Not all of our picks will be posted. If you want to see all of our picks, you have to watch the VOD. And I do have to say this because we are all 21, and yes, we can gamble. And ladies and gentlemen, have a good night.
That's not the only thing. This is not financial advice. You cannot sue me if you lose money. This is my picks and only my picks only and my decisions. Do not place money and bet on my discretion. Thank you.
If you lose money, I also lose money if you tell my picks. So don't come after me.
This is not
So-
financial advice.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for you tonight.